DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
And welcome back here to DreamHack Open Austin 2018. One match already played, but plenty more to follow. We saw E United picking up the victory, much to the chagrin of everyone other than myself. It was a 16-9 win on Cash. I'm going to rub that in their faces all day long. I'll be your host for this weekend. Bach on the desk with me is going to be Lurpus and Hazed. Now, we've got another match coming up, so we can forget about your blunders, about how you poorly analyzed that first game.
It's one match.
Listen, man. Talk is cheap. Go up to Valve, get yourself a permit to gamble on games, put some money on the line, and then come see us.
I tried to make a bet with the casters, but they did not take the bait. I said if E United win, they dye their hair pink to match you, I would dye my beard pink, despite knowing that it would be an unbearably awful rash.
And thanks to knowing that they would never accept it. So again, no skin in the game. Go on. What we're supposed to actually talk about.
Yes, so we will take a look over at the other group. That last match was from our Group A. This is going to be from Group B, and that's where we find the teams we're going to be seeing playing. It's OpTic and Rogue coming up here on stage, Space Soldiers and Complexity to play later today. A match that I personally am looking forward to because I really want to see what this new Complexity roster can do on land. But looking at that first one, that's the game we have coming up next. We have a team in Rogue who's shown some more promise more recently, and then you have OpTic, who's kind of in a really bizarre state with everything that's going on with the roster.
Yeah, so OpTic just changing their roster, and no one really knows what to expect of them. Their map pool is super fresh. This isn't like you're replacing one guy. This is like a total revamp.
Entirely new team.
Yeah, so it's really hard to tell where they're at right now. As for Rogue, I mean, no one really knows where they're at in general because they haven't really accomplished much, to be quite frank. They play against lesser tier opponents most of the time. If they do play against tier 1, they usually get slammed. So there's not really a lot of hope for them. Hopefully it can change on land, though.
I mean, the interesting thing is Rogue actually barely missed ESL Pro League Finals by one game. SK beat them by like one game in the standings, so they missed it. But to be fair, they also did very poorly in ECS, so that's important to note. They were in like 8th place there. Compared to OpTic, where you have like plenty of talent, it's just a matter of whether or not it's going to work. They played 21 maps together total in official matches. It's not really a whole lot to go by, but is that an X factor? Does that make them more dangerous because you don't know what to expect?
I mean, if you want to see what to expect from them, you just watch Snappy's previous Team Heroics demos. They're going to be built around the same way, in some regard at least. They have the same star hopper, Yugi, who their game is going to be largely built around. The only thing is, now obviously Snappy has much more skill to work with. He's got Config as the main point guy, leading the way. Doesn't hurt to have Cajun as your secondary hopper. It's just a more well-rounded, upgraded version of Heroic, I would say. But I think, obviously, you want to look at what the leader has previously done if you want to prepare for them.
Yeah, I agree. And having Yugi, that guy has been incredible.
He's a monster.
Yes, that is like the next big Danish player. Well, he's already a big Danish player to me, but he has been phenomenal. He's aggressive. He goes for kills. He's not afraid of the limelight. I think he
takes initiative in game. I think he's a big thing.
Especially, do you remember? I think it was at EPL. Whenever on Inferno, did you see where like they run boosted him?
Yeah,
dude. And they just went for a no scope. That kid's insane.
He definitely brings a level of energy with his op too that kind of like amps up the team. That's fun to build around. Now, looking at the maps, is there something we should expect? We talk about the fact that OpTic doesn't really have a map pool, so I guess really we're just looking at rogues at this point.
Yeah, so it's hard to say what it's going to eventually come down to. I think if you look at OpTic's roster and the players that they have, I think probably they're primed for a double or even triple op setup. So I think they would prefer to play maps like Train, maybe Overpass, where you can easily do double ops. So I imagine those maps would be what they'll be gunning for. Who knows, though? They might have something up their sleeve ready.
So we have a couple of bans coming out already. Cash, Nuke, Overpass, Mirage, all banned out. OpTic banning out Cash and Overpass. Nuke and Mirage banned out by Rogue. Not surprised by the first one or the second. The last two bans going to be Dust 2 and Train. We're going to be heading to Inferno. I kind of feel like this map does help the NA side a little bit more. I don't necessarily want to see the NA teams play Dust 2 or Train, because I feel like in general Dust 2 for NA teams is like, it's bizarre because the map really hasn't changed that much.
Yeah.
At the same point in time, they're just so untrained on it, and they're basically permabanning it now that it's allowing more maps into the pool. Do you think that Inferno might help Rogue's chances here?
Probably, though I'm sure that they've had it prepared for a long time. They have a deep strat book on it, I'd hope. So I think it's a pretty good map. The only concern here is it is OpTic's most played map with this lineup. So I don't know if that was really a good decision. I think they could have hit a map that they haven't played nearly as much, maybe aren't as comfortable on. So I think they should have stayed away from Inferno.
It's also a map that all the Danish in-game leaders have historically had good teams on. It's a map that allows OpTic to sort of, just grind away at you slowly across the map, take map control, do things to make you uncomfortable, force you to fall back into the sites, and then allow you to execute on the Terraria side. So I think just thinking about playing styles, they should fit OpTic fairly well. Plus, again, you have Yugi, and the map allows for double opping on the CT side.
At the same point in time, though, just looking at the team, it is their most played map, but that doesn't say much. Like, if you're talking about most played map, how many maps is that? Maybe 6?
I think they have like 5 or 6 games played on it.
So, like, it still is very much one of those, like, up in the air. We don't really know what to expect. We have a little bit more of a sample size from Rogue, but at the same time, the matches we do see played from from OpTic, excuse me, are against bigger opponents, because they played at ESL Pro League Finals. They played against teams of a higher caliber, and they actually had a decent run, all things considered. If I'm not mistaken, they narrowly missed making playoffs.
Yeah, at EPL, it was close, and I think maybe a good thing of picking Inferno for Rogue would be that they have data on OpTic's Inferno because of EPL. So maybe that's something that factored into the reason they let Inferno go through, whereas they don't have data on any of the other maps probably. So I could see that being a reason why it came down to Inferno. But this team, as Tommy said, they're obviously comfortable in Inferno. They're going to be aggressive with ops, taking control of the map, and looking for picks, and config is notoriously good on this map.
I'm also just not sure if Rogue have the personnel to... I could be wrong on this, but maybe they do, but I'm not sure if they're really the team who's going to get the most out of being able to watch a couple more demos on a given map. Like, I'm not sure if for them it's beneficial to just go full anti-strat, try to figure out how to directly attack the way OpTic likes to play, or has liked to play in those couple of maps. I mean, their longest stretch of practice is actually right before this event, after EPL Finals, so you don't even know how much they've had a time to change. But I would think maybe Rogue would actually just want to play their own game, and not really focus on the other team. Don't know, but we're gonna find out pretty soon. We got Hiko here coming up first. One of the oldest guys around in the North American Counter-Strike community. Been around since the early dark days of Counter-Strike.
Repping the hat.
He's always going to wear that hat.
Repping the hat.
The Hiko homies. And then obviously Cadian, who is currently the IGL for the team and the op presence, but is he really? That's the other thing. Rogue just recently cut Dimon and picked up Ricky, who would typically be an opper, but at the same point in time, we've seen Ricky in other teams where he was locking down the rifle responsibility. So, like, either they have a very strong flex opper in Ricky or a strong flex opper in Cadian. They have that dual op presence that can be very scary. And then you also have Sick on the team as well, who can op. When he was playing with TSM and Misfits, like, that team would often put the op in his hands at times too. So there's a lot going on. But I think the piece that we didn't mention is the coach change for Rogue. MCE, who played with Dignitas, his playing career maybe not much to brag about, but he's a very smart in-game leader, and he really does his homework when it comes to nade knowledge and counter-stratting. So I am hopeful that he's done some work here. Is that enough to push them over the edge?
Ooh, no. There's
unanimous.
There is too much talent on the OpTic roster, and the leadership in Snappy, as we've talked about, is superior in every way. I feel like maybe I underestimated him a little bit in the past, I would say, year, but he's really shown that he can in-game lead even with almost no practice and bring good results.
That's unfortunate. So it's just a unanimous. Like, there's no way that Rogue is going to take this one.
I mean, like, if you were to paint a picture of how could it happen, it would be the same way that United won the first game. You win both pistols, you hopefully break the other team's money a bunch of times when you're on the T side. That's actually the part that United didn't get in the first game. So that's the one thing that could have gone more in their favor as well. But you got to win both pistols, you got to break the other team's money, especially when you're on the T side. You got to rack up a bunch of rounds, got to get a couple of those 50-50 type situations probably need to go your way. And yeah, I mean, it's Counter-Strike. You still have a chance. It's the best of 1, but like the odds of this, like you gotta think OpTic are at least 2 in 3 favored.
Oh, absolutely. And I just can't see how they're going to prevent the double op picking them every round. They have 2 very prolific offers in Config and Yugi. I feel like they're just going to run over the map and do whatever they want.
And Cajun B potentially. Now, I'm told you have the 3 reasons why we should expect to see what we're going to see, so go ahead and let us know what
so
it's going to be.
that's not going to be surprising now why OpTic is going to win. So the first one is individual matchups. So I think, first of all, on the opping side, whether it's Ricky or Cadian opping against Yugi, that's just a whitewash. I think that's a terrible matchup, and wherever Yugi can go for duels, he should absolutely do that. Same goes for in-game leadership. So Snappy against Cadian, I just don't think it's a fair comparison. The second is higher individual skill ceiling for OpTic. This, again, I think it's very obvious. Config, Yugi, Cajun, these are some very good players, even on a worldwide scale. Rogue, they got good players. Ricky's had some good games. Cadian comes and goes. I think Hiko's had problems with consistency, but it's just not quite the same. And third and final reason is experience. This OpTic roster, these guys have gotten not necessarily big tournament wins outside of Cajun and Config, but they've got big wins. Yugi and Snappy in the last year, they knocked out SK out of E-League Premier last year. They had a bunch of good tournament showings. I think Katowice, they made top 4. So again, like it just doesn't seem like there's a lot for Rogue to go on.
So I guess that pretty much sells it, and I can kind of figure out where you guys are going with this one. But we'll ask anyway. What's your prediction here?
I got OpTic winning. I think it's pretty clear. I'm not really sure on the score, but I don't think it's going to be close. I'll go 16-7, 16-6, somewhere. I'll 16-7. I'll stick to it.
I like how the graphics actually came up before we said anything.
They already knew you were
It was
going
very
that way.
obvious from... I mean, we probably should start the prediction thing from like at the beginning and then talk why that's the case. Yeah, I think OpTic should win. I think they're heavily favored. I think multiple things would have to go wrong for them and right for Rogue for this to go the other way.
I think this time I'm going to have to agree with you guys. I think that OpTic takes this. I want to
Smart
vote.
man.
I want to vote for Rogue. I like the guys on Rogue, but at the same point in time, it's not a popularity contest. I got to go with my gut saying that OpTic takes this easily. I don't think it's even going to be close.
Yeah.
Like you're saying 16-7. I think that's being generous.
Well, I mean, I don't like seeing people get slaughtered, all right?
I don't want to see them get slaughtered.
I want to see a competition.
I do as
right?
well. But we've got our casters ready over on the desk. Blue, Dust, what do you guys think? Is this going to be as bad as we're telling it to be?
Probably, yeah. I would say it's been pretty accurate, the things I've heard so far.
Yeah, I think that like the thing is you've already would have expected Opt to be better than Rogue, but then Rogue's having to go through a roster change with little practice, and I think they were telling me they were trying to implement Ricky into more of being the main opera of the team, but for right now he's just kind of filling Gamon's spots. So I think that the lack of practice, I think OpTic's just more ready, and that adds even more to their advantage.
I do think if Rogue do get a bunch of rounds, it's because of Rick. I think Rick is really good, and he's aggressive, and he's going to make plays for this team. So I think if they get some rounds, it's on him.
It's a good acquisition by Rogue to pick up Ricky.
Absolutely.
Like, that was a good free agent snag by them.
I think that's the biggest thing, actually, is that he can take initiative and make things happen, which Hiko and Cadian, they're more passive players. So that's going to be problematic for them, I think.
Well, I believe the players are ready, so go ahead and take it away, Blue and Dust.
All right, thanks very much, Bach. I mean, we can even just look at this matchup from a statistical perspective and just looking at the wins that these guys have had in the past. Go back to the EPL finals. OpTic beat a lot of pretty high-class teams on this map. You're looking at SK they took down Space Soldiers on this map. They took down NIP on this map. As far as the guys on Rogue are concerned, they had a couple wins at like Copenhagen games on this map, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this probably is Rogue's best map with their old lineup, at least from online league play. Like, it was probably one of the maps they had the most wins on and played the most, and I think Inferno's very familiar to everyone, but it just so happens that you're going up against an OpTic team who, like you noted, at the EPL finals used Inferno to great effect. I mean, they obviously did wind up losing it to Renegades to get knocked out of the Cologne qualifiers, and obviously they weren't able to lock it in against SK in the EPL finals just recently, but still pretty good on it. And one of the big things is even though they've made a drastic roster change, as far as like bringing in a new in-game leader, bringing in a new AWP player, and that certainly changes everything about this team. A new coach as well, forget about the guys sitting behind them right now. All their spots are virtually the same for all the players who do carry over from the previous OpTic, so they didn't have to make a lot of tactical adjustments as far as like what spots they're playing. I think that allows them to at least have some familiarity with how they want to play certain areas of the map, and it made it to where it wasn't as harsh of a roster change in that regard, that everyone kind of slid into place, so to speak.
I do think that Lurpus said it best, and I think you just mentioned it as well, when it came down down to the overall rationalization behind the map choice, and that is just that I think more than likely here Rogue want to play their own game instead of worrying about the strengths that their opponents can bring to the table. That could be fatal, sadly, with how dominant I think OpTic are on this map, but we're really just going to have to wait and see on that regard.
It's going to be so hard because I think it is going to be OpTic starting on the CT side from what I can tell. And you're going up against an OpTic team where Yugi is a very versatile and dynamic AWP player. He's going to reposition a lot. He can take apartments picks. He's going to play standard spots as well. He's very good at hitting his shots. It didn't seem like the break impacted him too much. Like, obviously, he didn't play for a while. He was on like Heroic's bench for several months, kind of waiting for an opportunity to come back when he got well or whatever he was going through, and he didn't really seem to skip a beat at the EPL finals. And then you have Config, who's an absolute monster on the B side of the map. Like, good luck getting past him. He can run it down your throat with a rifle. He can make it really hard to take that space. And he's also their secondary opera on Inferno on the B side of the map, and he's pretty efficient at it. So you have some heavy hitters on OpTic that, as Rogue, with a new player coming, and you're dealing with that, you know, kind of trial, so to speak, and you're trying to go up against that level of firepower. It's going to be a hard fight.
Well, guys, we are still waiting, I think, for 1 or 2 more players to join the server. And once we have them joined up, we will be good to start this game. If you are wondering what the delay is, of course. Talking about some of the individuals in this matchup, however, Config and Yugi are the two that really stand out to me, because those are the two guys that had some really standout performances looking back at EPL. Like, just looking at the stats that they brought to the table there and their individual performances was really impressive. I'm looking forward now to see if that carries over into another LAN, especially when the overall level of the teams they're playing against has kind of gone down a little bit. You know, they're not going up against like SK, FaZe, and those teams and the like. Now they're going up against teams that I think are a little bit more at their level and possibly below it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you look at OpTic, like, when you look at their roster on paper, like, say there was no results, and you just saw their lineup on paper, you would think to yourself, like, Gade, jury's still kind of out on him as a player. When you look at everyone else, you're like, holy cow, like, this should be the second best Danish team, and probably at least top 10 at worst in the world with the level of players they have. Because, I mean, Snappy, capable in-game leader, not a bad fragging in-game leader as well, to be fair. Like, when you stack him up against other IGLs, his fragging is actually pretty decent. Good little entry fragger to pair with Config to open up areas of the map. Indeed star players who have proven themselves time and time again. And then Cajun B, that's not a bad shout for like a third best player on your team or something like that, who can kind of, you know, fill different gaps. He can pull out another op if you need to. He can kind of play more supportive roles. He can just bring that experience. He can also be like a second voice, you know, next to Snappy in the middle of rounds to kind of direct traffic, which is something that he was known for doing on previous teams to good effect. So I think, yeah, like, you expect a lot out of this team. It's just right now we haven't seen enough from them to know how it's going to go. But EPL certainly wasn't a bad debut for them.
No, not at all. And I mean, even when you look at the clutch ability that some of these guys are going to be bringing to the table, two of the players specifically being brought to mind have very impressive records when it comes to 1v1 clutches so far on LAN for this year. Both Snappy and Yugi have won over 80% of their 1v1 clutch so far throughout the course of this year. So even that's a factor too that's going to kind of move against the strengths of it's going to move against the strengths of Rogue a little bit, because that is one of the things that I think Rogue have, is the ability to clutch out in certain situations. But when you look at the power that OpTic also has, it immediately cancels it out once again. Sadly, for Rogue's part, shifts the dynamic back over to OpTic once again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Rogue is they've been through so many struggles since they've moved to North America. I mean, they went through just a revolving door of roster changes the previous seasons of EPL, but then they kind of brought Sick in. Originally, they were going to bring Rixon as well, but they wound up going with Gamon, and now they have Ricky coming in. And when you look at Rogue, I mean, they did well enough in the pro leagues to avoid relegation, and they were somewhat on the bubble of making EPL finals. They were pretty close, as Bach was saying earlier, but they didn't look good in ECS, and they had a slew of disappointing results in online qualifiers for different LAN tournaments. Like, so many DreamHack qualifiers. This is actually the only LAN they've qualified for. They've played in probably 5 or 6 different online qualifiers, and just all have faltered for them, right? Even getting beat by teams like, you know, Luminosity and Complexity, which are teams you would think that you're trying to rise over to kind of, you know, climb the totem pole of the region. So it's hard to believe in them against an OpTic team with so much talent and experience when they haven't shown us much outside of doing okay in EPL, right? That's not really good enough to give you something to inspire you to think that they're going to be destined for something greater. But Ricky, again, good pickup for this team. I will say Rogue has probably done as well as they possibly could on making roster acquisitions. Like, they took Sick off of Misfits, who was building. You know, they do get this Ricky signing, and I know a couple other teams were interested in him, and they were able to lock it in. So at least they're trying. Like, they're making the best moves they can get, because they're probably not an attractive team to a lot of elite talent. in the region, but at least they're finding ways to still pick up good pieces as best they can.
Just kind of slowly building the roster up over time seems to be the case. And again, the lack of LAN experience this year is an issue for them, but that also goes back to OpTic, and that this is still a relatively new roster. But again, they obviously have a lot more experience as the 5 players combined in general. Overall, Rogue have only been able to show up to 2 LANs so far this year. They managed to play at EPL relegation at the beginning of this year, back in January, and then Copenhagen Games a couple months ago, too.
And that was rough. Copenhagen Games was really rough for them. They got knocked out in the BYOC and had to play the B tournament, which they won, but it was the B tournament. So yeah, I hate to be rude, but it didn't really mean anything. That's like being valedictorian to summer school. You know, like, congratulations. Like, I guess you topped the class, but guess the field you were up against wasn't really the best, right? So, yeah, I mean, at least that maybe gave them some practice, some drills. But again, with the roster change right before this tournament, they've yet to play with Ricky. This will be the first time they've ever played with him in an official match setting. You have to wonder how it's all going to shake down against an OpTic team, which theoretically should have had a lot of time to practice because they haven't really had to play a bunch. Like, this 5 came together after most of their online league play was already over. And so they really just had to play EPL finals, and then they played the Cologne qualifiers, which Renegades beat them out in. And then other than that, it should have been just practice, practice, practice. Yeah,
should have been plenty of time for the core 5 to work with, like, scrims and things like that, though. So I'm not too worried about that. The cohesion factor, I think that's going to work fine. I think it's just the over-surmounting odds that are stacked against them is the biggest issue here, sadly. Doesn't look like the players did the knife round, guys, so I think we're pretty much ready to go. Once again, we do apologize for that little bit of a delay. We were a bit behind on getting some players into the server.
No, it's our fault, man. Like, we told them, hey, no, we want to hear our own voice for a little bit longer, so you guys need to just wait. We got to say our stuff, but and now I've hit the button. They're good to go.
So they should be readying up within the next moment or so here, and we'll be good to jump into the action with another best of 1 in the first match, of course, for both of these teams to start their tournament off. The winner will, of course, be pushing forward to the winner's match a little bit later on today. Unfortunately for the loser, they will have to come back tomorrow to play in best of 3s for survival.
Our cameraman really likes that keyboard.
That is a nice keyboard.
I mean, it's nice and light.
I don't know what kind of keyboard that is.
I don't know either, but it has some nice rainbow keycaps. James Bardoff would approve. Keyboard warrior. That dude has a lot of keyboards. It's actually pretty insane.
I do too, actually.
Yeah, I bet. You have a lot of things, Blue.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things.
I'm a fan of fine things.
You're a fan of fine technology.
Fine keyboards and sneakers.
How's that boosted board going?
It's going pretty good.
It's
actually not a boosted board. It's something else.
Okay.
But it's, you know, we had the head injury a while back, so we had to put that away. But, ladies and gentlemen,
I need DJ Prius to come out with the nice helmet blue picture. Throw it out there on Twitter if he's listening. But looks like we don't have to buy time anymore because we are setting the stage here on Inferno. It will be OpTic starting out on that CT side. And you hate to see that. You hate to see the instant pause, Blue.
So I'm sure he's just fixing something quick, like a config or something like that. Not the player config, but an actual config. So we'll get him back in within the next couple seconds, and then we'll be good to resume the pistol round and get things started. He did get a quick glance at it, though, so we can at least start talking about some of the stuff that's in-game. OpTic is going to be starting off on the CT side, and Rogue will be on the T side to begin things.
Indeed, that is going to be how things shake down. So again, I'm curious to see how Ricky's going to get used on this T side. Gamon previously was kind of like an entry player, more towards middle or helping entry B with someone like Hiko who normally plays towards the B side of the map on T side. So I'm curious if Ricky's just going to slot in and do that, or if they've tinkered around because like Sick and Vice were normally their apartments control players, so I wonder if they're going to keep Sick and Vice where they're used to playing in apartments, or if they're going to have to move someone and let Ricky do that, or I want to know how they're implementing Ricky, and I think that this first game that we get to see them play together will be how we tell that, as we see Config, who seems really excited to play.
Wants to jump in game. Ready to go. And so we should not hold him back.
Yeah, don't hold that man back
much longer. As it looks like, again, you're just fixing some stuff in-game, so a quick little fix for you, ladies and gentlemen, and then we are going to be good to jump into it. But Config is a player we actually haven't discussed all that much from an individual perspective in terms of what he can bring to the table. For most people in the community, it's relatively well known, the capabilities that he has, but give people, the folks at home that it might be a little bit newer, give them a bit of a refresher.
So, second entry behind Snappy on T-sides on pretty much all maps, very active player. I think on the older OpTic lineup when they had Stanislaw and Shazam, he actually kind of at times didn't entry as much because they were using like Gade and other players to do it, but he's back to kind of a classic pairing, kind of like when he used to pair it with MSL on old teams. He has that same 1-2 punch with Snappy, and he's also their second opper in a lot of situations, which I think might catch some people off guard, because I think a lot of people would have just assumed that Cajun B will be the second op for this team, but at least on this map, he is their second op over on the B side of the map on CT side, and he definitely is proficient with it. I mean, as you would expect, a good aimer in his own right as an entry fragger, so he can definitely put use to the scoped weapon as well. So that is what to look out for on Inferno. Also, just generally very aggressive. Like, on CT sides, he's definitely not afraid to push you and get in your face and try to get kills and make plays. And certainly, he's a guy that he's very explosive. Like, you can kind of rein him in a little bit to play within his system, but he's probably at his best when he's able to just kind of frag out, basically.
We had Sick on the screen a moment ago, too. He's another kind of young and upcoming player in North America. He had a lot of hype built up around him when he was on TSM towards the end of 2016, but it kind of faded off.
I think Twist overshadowed him.
Yeah, so I was just about
what
to say.
basically happened there. I actually had like a bet with Moses on like who would turn out better, Twist or Sick, on the TSM days, and I picked Twist and he picked Sick, and Twist did just wind up overshadowing him, like going to Liquid, developing into a star player, one of the best players in NA right now as far as skill ceiling goes, I'd have to imagine. And Sick, I mean, he was really good on TSM, and then on Misfits, I feel he wasn't bad, but he didn't, like, keep trending upwards. Like, he didn't keep growing, keep turning into more of a star player. He kind of stayed roughly the same, but still certainly a player that was a good pickup for this Rogue team. Like, they were in need of adding firepower to the team after a lot of struggles over the last year and a half or so, and I think it was definitely a good acquisition for Rogue to get 6. I think he still does have value as a fragger, even if he didn't make the same climb that Twist did.
All right, guys, well, it is finally live, so I think that we are pretty much good to go here. I think we just have to re-roll the round once again, and then we'll be good to start things off. You can see them doing it now, and this should immediately go live on the restart, which I believe it is going to do now. So let's finally jump into it. OpTic versus Rogue. The winner pushes forward into the winner's matchup, and for the loser, sadly, they'll have to come back tomorrow to fight for survival in a BO3.
Indeed, here we go. Cajun B will get flash smoke. Everyone else, though, USP armor. No utility on Rogue. It's all Glock armor, so all just looking to run out and frag out, in fact. It looks like they're actually running up middle with Glocks. They're looking to try to see if they can't just take this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, pretty much just going to run through brackets real quickly, try to get control over towards Port. Yugi does spot it. He goes Sick, Katie, and all picking up kills, however, as they take very fast control of the A-bomb site. Sick's even going to wrap back, but he gets beaten out by Config. So that does give them a little bit of an opportunity to get some control back. Sadly, the numbers alone stacked against them are going to be hugely detrimental at this point. Config looking for something, quickly finds that headshot on a Ricky to take him down, but it is immediately traded, leaving Snappy in this situation alone. A 1v3 clutch he has to try and attempt it now. No kit currently on him. There might be one down on the site, but he's not even going to get a chance at it. Vice says goodbye, picks up his second kill, and Rogue will claim the opening pistol.
Wow. I mean, that was literally just Glock armor rush mid from Rogue. I mean, there was really nothing special about it, but they just get all 3 entries. I mean, Snappy and Config were actually on a quick flank through Banana. So if OpTic could have kind of survived out in pit and stuff and bought a little bit more time for the flank to set in, that could have been really scary, but Rogue just cleans house inside the A-bomb site. They didn't even really take much damage from the OpTic players over there defending. So a pretty dominant pistol there from Rogue. OpTic, of course, will buy up. Config, no surprise there, being Hacker Webby with the Deagle, looking for a pick, but no one's going to give it to him. Smoke in his face, just trying to spam through. Looks like it is going to be an A split here from Rogue. A couple coming out of the apartments. Cajun playing up close.
And quickly trying to overwhelm Cajun B as he takes it out. Gade won't even be able to react. Flashed out. Can't put the Kia pistol together in time, so Katie will knock him out too. And that'll be the A site fully under the control of Rogue, and I'm pretty sure the round done as well.
This is a smart play here from OpTic. I mean, you can at least pose a similar threat next round if you can save all 3 pistols into the armors. They also do have a couple of smokes, 3 smokes in fact. So you basically have to replay this round all over again next round, rather than, you know, try to go for this, probably not make it, lose all your guns, and next round you're like on a full USP save. Or maybe a couple of P250s in the mix. So good thought. Rogue, another very quick round on their side. They're going to go up 2-0.
And it is not looking like Rogue is going to go in to hunt any of these pistols down. Not really worth it at this stage of the game. They're still trying to build up economy. Might as well just let them keep the pistols. It's not too much more of a threat to have those upgraded pistols and armor in comparison to just defaults. So
And the one thing I'm going to be curious about, by the way, Blue, is the fact that when I've watched Rogue play this map before they picked up Ricky, very aggressive team, very assertive on the T side, play fast-paced Counter-Strike, and knowing that they like to do that and then combining with the fact that I know how aggressive Config likes to be at B and how Yugi will get aggressive with the AWP on the A side, I think we could see a lot of early round clashes in this game. So I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks, not a lot of, you know, holding off, waiting until like the last 40 seconds of the round before we really get to see something. I think you're going to see a lot of early exchanges, and so that'll make things exciting.
A little bit of early nade pressure comes out from Rogue to the top of Banana. They won't proceed forward to try and get control there, however. They're pretty much sending everyone up mid instead, and one, of course, Sick, is going to go inside of the apartments to take control there, which will eventually turn into Boiler.
So my question has been answered. Ricky is just kind of filling in the Gammon spot right now. But Config delivers the first kill. Ricky quick to trade, though, so it keeps it at a 4-on-4. They do have control of top middle now. So that does deny information to OpTic. They have no vision on top mid anymore. They have to kind of be a little bit more careful with their rotations. They're going to double up here towards Arch.
Sick's going to quickly try to get himself around the corner, but he holds up a bit, actually, since he is alone here. He's going to try and hold the line, basically, for his teammates who have now rotated back down mid and are attempting a push up through Banana instead. Only Yugi here to defend it right now. But he does have a good position back by the coffins to be able to try and do a little bit of damage himself. Sadly, he'll be smoked out. Has to try and make a push forward. He is getting tagged down a little bit, but he still has a position to play off of defensively. Sick, in the meantime, is going to start making this some aggression on the A-bomb site to at least cut off the rotators, and they do eventually knock out Yugi sitting in the backside there. Just a few remaining. We'll see here. Oh, yeah, Hiko actually denies Snappy. Had a great chance to try and knock out Sick, but it doesn't pan out. And so for KJB, there's not really any option here. He could try to post up for exits. They've got the gun round coming up after this anyway, so it's not a big deal if he dies. That's exactly what he's going to try to do. Get at least one kill if he can get lucky with the headshots, but not going to happen. Sick takes him down, and Rogue get a relatively clean 3-0 start.
Yeah, really good at just being able to control top middle quickly, like quick exchange. Get into a 4-on-4, really force OpTic in a tough spot on how they decide to rotate. They do catch the vulnerable B bomb site. They also were able to sneak Sick in through Archway and get that flank and really deny any chance at OpTic to come back into this. And now they don't have enough money for even a single AWP, let alone usually going for the double op setup. And Config actually has to go to a FAMAS to be able to get kit and utility. So that means they're a little bit weaker than normal. And again, Rogue looking to work fast, coming into the apartments right away. Cage has already taken heat. He's trying to back off. He can get his gun out in time. He can, but he still goes down.
Cage quickly knocking out 2 in response, however, but even he falls to the ground to Vice, and Vice will find himself another quick headshot against Snappy back over by the library, giving Rogue the advantage in post-plant. Down to a 3v2 now. Yugi, first to crawl back into the site. He'll go through the apartments quickly while his teammate is still working back for library control. He's going to immediately have pressure as he goes down this long haul. Oh, but Ricky messes up big time there. Peeks out, is not ready to take the fight and loses 80 of his health, now leaving 2 guys incredibly injured inside of the pit. That's going to be chunky nade right on top of him, however, but Config has still started to knock out these pit players. At the same time, though, the CTs are running incredibly low on time, and Sick is yet to be revealed. Finds one, but he can't get the second. Config trades it out, and he's just going to be able to jump onto the bomb in time to get this defuse. OpTic will get onto the board with the first gun round here now, bringing the score to 1-3.
That's why it was huge. He went for the FAMAS to get a kick, because it certainly came in handy there. That round did certainly come down to the wire. I will have to give props actually to Gade. Things were looking really harsh when KJB got caught out on a balcony like that, but then Gade was able to step up. We'll get to see it again here. Gets those 2 kills, and at least gives his team a chance in a clutch situation later, which of course Config and company able to pull through. They do actually grab an AK for Config off the back of that. They did have to do a lot of rebuying though, because that was a close round, so they could definitely get reset still. Gotta be careful, as Rogue still has money to buy. Cadian has it up posted and catches Snappy.
Oh, he misses the porch player though, so Gade's gonna be able to sneak out, thankfully. He had teammates with him there, so after Cadian's gone down Sick, along with one other member, moves in through brackets, picks up the trade onto the porch player, eliminating Gade. Now leaving pretty much just Cajun here on the A-bomb site. He's got more reinforcements on the way. Sadly, Cajun B fails to pick up anything. That'll bring the numbers down to a 2v4. While we might see Yugi and Config peek back in to try to get a kill or 2 if they don't find anything, you can bet there's going to be a save in these next couple seconds, and there it is.
Yeah, such a harsh reset coming into their economy. Saving these 2 AKs is going to be massive. At least gives them something to work with in the next round, but they'll have very little to buy around it. And so Rogue keeping up the pace. A nice tight grouping at middle, so even when Cadian got caught in the back from porch, Sick was right there to get it back. And then they were able to just kind of swarm on this A bomb site. So very little hesitation out of Rogue so far on this map. They've been very quick to capitalize on any trading opportunity that's been dealt to them. And they've been pretty, like a lot of these rounds for them, they've only lost maybe a couple of players. Like other than the round that they obviously lost, the 4 rounds that they've won, they have done it very cleanly, I will say. And Ricky retains the AWP as well to recycle over.
Yeah, Rogue never was really in danger of running out of money there, too, so they're going to be able to now stack up quite a bit, since, as you were mentioning, OpTic pretty much get thrown onto a hard reset. They're only going to have the guns they save, so just the 2 AKs being carried over. Besides that, they are forcing up, but obviously, with the amount of money they have, it's not going to be that great. They get 2 umps actually onto the board. Okay, it's a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, actually. 2 umps onto the board, along with KGB being forced onto a CZ, and pretty decent utility for everybody except for Cage and B, so it's not the end of the world here. OpTic could sneak something together on this round, potentially keep them competitive against Rogue before they really shoot ahead with a massive bank and pretty massive scoreline too. There's Config stepping up first. He's able to find Sick and is now going to quickly fall back to the site. Doesn't want to play aggressively out here anymore.
Config's probably frustrated because he's normally a very aggressive B player, but no one's really been there from Rogue. They've been really A-centric, but now Config finally gets his chance to go up to the plate. He hits a homer. Yugi, though, tries to come out, and he's been busted, so that advantage they gained is already gone, and now Config's left alone to deal with this, and he'll sneak through, though. Able to safely get the sandbags.
A lot of good info there.
If they recommit, they might not expect them to have slipped through their own smoke to get there. Like their smoke, they would think discourages this type of push, so Config might get the jump on this team.
So Config's just going to sit back here, patiently await to see if Rogue are going to re-aggress. He can hear the footsteps. He knows they're here again. So he should start to call for his teammate Snappy to rotate back over. He'd be the closest, but no, Hiko's ready to take the challenge out from behind sandbags. Now they've got a wide open B site to take. The problem is, though, is the bomb is on the other side. This is a fake they're throwing right now, and sadly it hasn't really drawn the attention of that many CTs. Gate is starting to fall back, but in a second, he's going to reaffirm his position because Cajun's sitting right down below, and he's knocked out one moving into the site.
Even 3-on-3 here. The remaining players trying to come up through lane. They do have a player in pit, 1 in sight. So good defense set up here, but Hiko's breaking through.
There's the next pickup from Hiko as well. Clears out the site, leaving it all under their control. Snappy's not really going to have any choice but to save here. He'll go out towards mid in hopes of finding a couple players exiting, but the round is over. Rogue will take it, and they're going to go ahead now at 5-1.
Yeah, Hiko coming up huge that round. A big catch on Config, who pushed sandbags in an unorthodox manner right past one of Rogue's smokes. Normally you wouldn't expect that, but Hiko was wise to it. Then turns around and finds the big entries they needed in the 3v3 as they came up lane. Not normally known as an entry fragger is Hiko, but he definitely had a lot of impact frags in this one. And so Rogue's now going to go up 5-1, and the money is bleeding out on the OpTic side right now. This is not a good start for the green wall by any stretch. Rogue coming out hot.
Amazing start, both in terms of the scoreline and, again, the money, too. It's really going to start to blow up for these guys. We've got Sick and Hiko at over 10K. Hiko specifically is at 12K right now. Vice at 11. So this is a very, very dangerous amount of money. And not only that, but with the scoreline increasing ever more, and OpTic again going to be on an eco for this upcoming round, things just look really good here at the start for Rogue. And I think that was one of the factors that the analysts talked about, was that if we did see Rogue get off to a start with a couple of rounds in their direction, that maybe they could swing something. And that is pretty much exactly what has happened here. They got the pistol. The following rounds went very clean, obviously dropping the opening gun round, but then immediately trading it back. Once again, they're in full control of the situation right now because of that.
Yeah, OpTic's really been up against the ropes when it comes to economy throughout this half so far. And it's not going to get any better, really. I mean, hopefully next round they can start making something happen, but Rogue's getting a scary lead at this point. They've looked very confident throughout these rounds. Like I said, there's been little hesitation. They've been quick to follow up their picks. They move together really well. You've never really seen them disjointed or spread out too far to not have the ability to trade. They've been on point. And in this round, a little bit of apartments presence here from Rogue. They back off pretty quickly and staging up for the B side.
They're going to be a lot more careful to clear out the old car spot this time, the staging ground leading into the B site. Due to what happened, I think, with Config on the previous round, especially since OpTic are on an eco
Wondering
here.
if they're going to molly that back corner, by the way. They have plenty of mollies to do that, but usually you molly like new box and oranges, so those two players boosted might get away with it. We'll have to see.
Vice is soon going to be grouping up with these players, so you can bet that this is going to be confirmed to be hit. in the next couple of seconds here. They're just lining up smokes and utility now, and the mollies that you were talking about before, more than likely going to be coming out. Following that up pretty quickly. There we go. It does look like they tried to throw him over to the back a little bit. So, yep, that's going to force Yugi and Cajun into the open. They're set away, and now they're not in safe positions anymore. Cajun specifically just right in the open. They try to pre-fire over towards that flower box position. It's not necessary, but either way, they clean up shop once again, leaving the last three with pretty much no options but to save or look for exits.
Yeah, again, good use of Molotovs to make sure there was nothing gimmicky that OpTic could do with those pistols inside the site. And another very clean round, it appears, here coming from Rogue. They might get through this one without losing a single player. Only Snappy around. Looks like he would just look to save this AK armor and kit, obviously, as money is certainly not in good amounts for OpTic.
It's not great.
It's not good.
It's at right under 2K on the average player right now.
That's not what you want to see. Not as a CT team, especially. Meanwhile, Hiko high rolling over there, 10K.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before, and it wasn't just him. Vice and Sick also had pretty incredible amounts before the round began. I think they had the rebuy, though, so obviously that went down a bit, but should be building up again. They're going to be looking around 8 to 9K as soon as this win bonus comes in.
Other than buying nade sets as well, there's nothing else they have to shoot for, so they're set up really well for basically the rest of this half as far as cash goes. So they're definitely in the driver's seat of this half. Definitely not the half that was expected.
Pretty much at the point where even if they start to lose a sequence of rounds, by the time they run out of money, the losing bonus will have hit like 4 or 5. So yeah, it's not going to matter. They are invincible in terms of a money perspective right now. Rogue are looking really, really good indeed. And if this performance continues, OpTic might have something to worry about as we get towards the end of this half and, of course, closer to the beginning of the second half, too, once the sides do switch up. OpTic's going to get a little bit more aggressive this time, however. You can see them trying to posture up. They've gone for the aggressive smoke down. Banana, a few nades getting chucked back by the T's, but overall, Config's taking up position up on top. Vice has got to be careful, too. There is someone waiting for him inside, but he still manages to win him out in the 1v1. Knocks out Gade, and Sick just gets an easy headshot onto Cajun B.
I'm surprised Cajun went for that. I mean, you know Vice is weary of aggression. He's just taking out your teammate, and Cajun still tries to go for something, gets caught. That's a big misstep, I think, from OpTic there. I mean, I understand they're trying to change things up and get in Rogue's face, but it doesn't work out. And now Snappy goes down with just one frag to his name. And so, again, the A-bomb site's been pried wide open by Rogue through sheer aggression. And again, OpTic just has to kind of sit back and save the Sim4 and UMP.
Again, just no options, really. Utility's completely gone. They don't know about post-plant positions because their player in the site dies too early on in the fight there. And obviously the numbers. So there's just not really any options being presented to OpTic here for, I think it's been like 3-4 rounds straight now where they just have not been able to even attempt a retake. It just hasn't been logical. Although, this is interesting.
Yeah, they're having a real hard time dealing with Rogue's aggression. I mean, that's really the big thing. There is still one player in pit, so a Ninja Diffuse is not really in the card, so there is kits on both these players. But yeah, Hiko's here locking it down, making sure that's not going to be possible.
Still looking to hunt these guys more than anything, but
sadly... I think
he's
trying to upgrade that UMP if he can find like an AK or something. He knows that Cajun went down.
Got an M4, I think. Yep. Yeah. Both have M4s now, so they're in better shape at least, a little bit better. Sadly, it's more so the actions within the rounds, not the metagame of the economy that has become the issue for OpTic here. So they really need to look to improve it, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a attack pause from them just yet.
Yeah, I am also surprised. Maybe they're waiting to get money and then call for one, but no, they're not.
No, they have money. They have a buy here because of the saves. So
I thought this would have been the perfect time to call one, actually. But they will go against it. I think the coaches at DreamHack OpenStar are able to talk to teams between rounds or something like that. So maybe they don't need a timeout as much because the rules are a bit different for DreamHack Open. I'm not 100% on that, though. I feel like that has been the case in the past.
I think you're right, yeah.
So maybe I can get a confirmation at some point. But, yep, we are going to see Rogue actually slow it down just a little bit this time. It's keeping it default, though. Vice does clear out the entirety of apartments.
Rogue taking it relatively slow here, too. Like you said, you have Vice and Sick just kind of working the apartments and alt lanes right now. Katie and Hiko more so posturing up against aggression, more so than looking to actually take banana control. As we can see right now, they're pretty much just sitting back behind the half wall. They're probably going to make a move in a sec to be able to take the staging grab at least so as to keep the illusion alive that there could still be a B hit, but judging by the way the minimap looks right now, this is more than likely going to be swinging into A once again.
This is everything Rogue wants, right? They have control of top middle. They've pushed top banana back as well, so CTs have no information. And they have to just kind of sit like this 2-3 split. They can't cheat at fourth player A or anything like that. It's all going to come down to the frags they can get with the people who are here. Snappy up close with the UMP. No one pushes him just yet, though, but he might look to take an off-timing peek or something. But Ricky's posted up waiting for that very thing.
Two-man push going to come out against them too. They could stack up, and that could give Snappy the angle he needs to multi-frag here. Oh, he's actually gifted the first one. Sick peeks out just a little bit too far. Gives away the angle, and there's that lineup I was talking about. Ricky and Hiko are the next two victims of the ump. And all of a sudden, Rogue are looking awful here. Vice, along with Cadian, going to have to turn it around. Scratch that. It's just Cadian now, locked into a 1v3, and he's only got 15 seconds left to plant. Gonna play this very slowly now. Just fish out, see if there's anyone else waiting. Goes for a wide peek, but unscopes it probably the worst possible time.
Man.
So Snappy knocks him out. And OpTic finally put together a second round after a 4-round streak from Rogue.
Dom says you're out, man. I don't know. Like that definitely Snappy holding an unorthodox angle. I typically expect someone to be playing inside the archway or at the moto wrap, but he's up close with the UMP on the door here. And they were just spaced out a little bit too much. And he lines up that final headshot on the Hiko for the hat trick. So, well done. Once one of the 4 goes around, and now they get to go double op, but Snappy has a second op, actually. And look at Yugi. He beats the smoke. He's thirsty for a frag right now. No one's giving it to him, though. He does get forced back.
So he's going to back away from mid for now. If he had stayed for maybe another 5 or so seconds, he might have gotten knocked out by the ultimate players, but had the good timing on it, was able to avoid that disaster.
I am a little surprised Snappy has the op over Config. Like, normally it would be him. Maybe it was like a spawn thing. Snappy had the better spawn to go for the peak or something, but even now they're keeping it that way. So this is definitely a little bit different from OpTic, but Config with the FAMAS still can be deadly.
It's probably more so Rogue have been executing at like really inconsistent times, so they don't know like when the aggression's going to come in or where it's going to come from, because Rogue have also not really subscribed to just going to one side or the other for the most part. They've been mixing it up quite a bit.
Also, there's no read here from OpTic again. Like they don't have any presence top middle, so they can't know to start rotating a third person to B yet. So it's all going to come down to the 2 players inside the site to defend. We do see them lining up the utility. Once they start throwing it, then they'll know. And there is a player by library who can rotate pretty fast, but it's still going to be a difficult hit to deal with from OpTic. It's going to come down to individual effort.
This is another sight hit from Rogue as well, where if it goes well, if they just knock out Config and Snappy, the rotates won't matter because the site's going to be fully controlled. There's Hiko with the first entry kill, moving in and finding Snappy, and now it's just Config. Config's trying to play passive. He's trying to buy time for the rotates, and he's done it. Yugi rotated in. Config still eventually goes down, though, and once again, it's a situation where OpTic might have to consider a save, but I think they might finally go for this. It's 3v4, so it's not impossible. They have decent utility as well, so they definitely have a chance to go for this, and I think they're finally going to commit to it. Maybe not. I'm still...
They have incendiaries to flush out spots and try. Like, just incendiary Numox in dark corner and see if you can get someone out.
Yeah, they're going to try it. Okay, waiting on the close angle, however, but he's unable to execute either of them. Cajun picks up that first kill. It's sick to strike right back from the emo corner, however. And Cadian with the up one banana knocks out Cajun. Yugi now with no choice left but to fall back inside of construction here. However, he can't even find a path outside of it. He's going to have to take a bit of a duel. At least he's going to be able to try and get some exit frags this time, bringing it down to just 2 from Rogue. Flashes out Cadian. He's still got him blind. It was a perfect flash connection. As he knocks Cadian out, he'll look for one more on Hiko too, but no. Hiko gets the frag, but he will also die to the explosion. All 10 players getting knocked out in that round, but Rogue still take it and retake their advantage at 8-2, causing a reset of OpTic's economy as well.
Yeah, so I mean, Yugi gets a couple of style points at the end, but it doesn't really matter. Rogue's the one who gets the victory, which is what matters most. I think Hiko just caught a clean headshot through the smoke on Snappy. Snappy did actually back up with the AWP and was kind of waiting for his team's rotation. He didn't want to go for the fight. He was trying to do the safe play, but Hiko still puts him between the eyes. So that is unfortunate for OpTic, I guess you would say, but great news for Rogue, who continue to build a massive lead and again have OpTic in a situation where they're having to work with very little. Just some CZs, a couple of P250s and a Deagle, no armor, no kit, no utility other than Yugi smoke. And so Rogue's just been able to kind of do whatever they want this game. I feel like they've never been under any pressure.
Now they're literally just walking through brackets as well. Again, it's an eco round, so kind of expect OpTic to play it back passively, but just the amount of control they're being given here, OpTic is scared. They don't want to play out at all. Gate at least is able to find one quick trade. Cajun gets a close fight on site, but both him and Gate are immediately knocked off of their site as soon as the T's step foot inside. Hiko's going to cut off one rotator already. Yugi's down to being the last man standing, so let's see what he can do. It's going to be attempts at exits. That's pretty much it. Rogue once again taking solid control of another anti-eco, and they're going to go up to 9.
Yeah, they are. Also, I just want to note something. Before this round, where Ricky just got 2 kills, he only had 1 kill this entire half. And that's not because he's like been bad, but it's just because like even though he's the guy we all thought was going to be the one that made plays for this team, he hasn't been required. But the other 4 players have between 8 and 10 kills, so a very tight distribution. Are now 8 and 11, excuse me, after that extra kill that Sick just got this round. So yeah, everyone's really up to bat right now for Rogue, and they're delivering.
It's all just on the entry power, right?
Yeah.
Like
even Hiko's been a part of it at times, too, which is like not what you expect.
It's pretty much most of their one gun rounds for the most part haven't come down to like post plant clutches. I think we finally saw like a good post plant duel happening there in the last round or so.
This is about as clean of a T-half of Inferno as you'll probably see. Like just how dominant some of these rounds have been, where they've like survived with, you know, at minimum 3 players pretty much every time, I feel like.
I mean, so all 4 of the rounds they won
2 hard resets as well mixed into this, by the way. It's worth noting that.
So all 4 of the rounds that they did win following the loss in the opening gun round, all were save calls from coming out from OpTic there. And then it's gone back to that pattern once again now. But we are going to start to finally see OpTic, I think, buying in this time. Ooh, maybe not, actually. Their money's a little bit low here. They are taking attack pause right now.
Other than the 2 rounds that Rogue has lost, has there been another round where they've lost more than 2 players? Take a look at it.
The recent gun round, that would pretty much be it though. On round 10, when everybody went down because of the fight.
Hiko explosion. Yeah, Hiko down to the explosion. So yeah, it's just been, you know, great for Rogue.
That's been the only like really competitive gun round we've seen so far. That one maybe the opening one that OpTic actually won, but that's pretty much been it. It's been all Rogue for the most part. Besides that.
Another round again where OpTic are just kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here. They're looking for maybe some type of nade stack play to come out. They've done no damage really so far with their grenades. 1 damage to Hiko. But okay, those have been a little bit more meaty.
It's pretty good. It's about a little over 100 damage, I think. Yugi as well had the angle into the logs player. This is the opening shot there. So not able to do much for it. The nade from Sick is going to finish him off, though. Oh, Config, careful now. Jumping over top. He's going to get a decent spread of damage on a couple of players, but nothing significant, sadly. Ricky still takes it out.
I feel like the most visual evidence you could need to know that Config is frustrated. Like, just going for a jump peek with the CZ. Like, he knew that nade damage was there, sure, but I feel like they could have baited in players for Config to have, like, an easier time in the lineup other than him just jump peeking. Then he goes down, so he can't even put that CZ to use later if they do wind up committing to some type of top B push. So I feel like he really tried to force something there because they're so far behind. He is like known to be one of the big playmakers on this team, and yeah, it does seem like he was just really trying to force something that just wasn't there.
Rogue still playing it a little bit carefully, though, in this round, for good reason, too. OpTic have shown up in a couple different places, so they don't know exactly what the setup looks like just yet. It's a slow process of melting down this anti-eco once again. And they've pretty much done it already here, unless something goes horribly wrong on Banana. They're going to be in good shape.
OpTic has never gotten anything out of being aggressive in apartments or balcony. Like, they've always been caught out there. Like, Cajun B got run down 1 round. He got caught in window room another round. It's just nothing aggressive OpTic try to do on the A side of the map has ever done anything for them, except for Snappy's ump round. That's like the one time they've gotten anything out of it. So
Inferno's a map where you kind of have to get aggressive to a certain degree, though, if you're on the CT side, because you have to play for intel. You can't go into every round blind about where the Ts are going to execute from, because that's an easy way to end up in the reset situation that we saw earlier on in the half, and where you're just going to get overwhelmed every single time. So you have to be slightly aggressive, at least, to try and play for intel.
Yeah, at least get an idea on numbers brackets and be able to kind of play off of that. Yugi has, when he has had an AWP, he has gone for something here and there. This round, he is going to be over towards B, but Utility is stopping him, but they're going to boost at a kind of a different spot. Oh, a run boost onto the wall. No one there, though, to receive it. It's an A focus here from Rogue. But at least this gives him information to start rotating a player back. It's going to be Cajun B with the M4 coming through arches.
Rogue, yeah, soon going to be moving back in here now through brackets and taking porch control directly after. Once again, that's OpTic playing it incredibly laid back here. Pretty much setting all their CTs up on the actual site. This is good and bad at the same time. Bad because they don't know the extent to which this push is going to be coming in. Good because their positions remain a secret here. And that's going to work out great for them too. But the kills are coming back. However, it's still enough for OpTic to hold on. Cadian's left alone and sneaks off 1 kill, but Cajun B gets close enough to shut down the round and finally put a number 3 up on the board for OpTic.
Yeah, it's like one of the few rounds this entire half we've seen OpTic be able to get an early read and cheat a rotation. Like, they got Yugi up on the wall at B. He was able to lock it down by himself. He could have gotten a free kill probably, or at least had fallen back and bought time for a rotation. Allowed a 4th player from OpTic to get to A. And in the blink of an eye, you see OpTic just out-trade Rogue, and there was even a team kill involved in that exchange that's worth noting, which even put Rogue further behind in the round. And now they do have the double op set up again in play, but again, it's not config with the second AWP, surprisingly enough. And they're going to go for that same run boost again, see if it can get some impacts. Nope, Cadian waiting for it.
So the run boost worked. I think the air strafe might have been a little bit off, because I think he wanted to land more to the right, so he could already be peaked essentially when he takes that. So that's what that messes up there, sadly.
That basically looked like a normal boost from Cadian's perspective.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're not aware of that whole strat play yet, so they might use that again if they can get good positions on it. But sadly, it's not going to work out this time for Yugi. He gets knocked out, and Rogue once again have the opening 5v4 advantage to try and play off of here.
There's just been like a couple of missed shots at certain times for OpTic that you'd think they would hit. Like Rogue has done really well winning 1v1 exchanges on basically both peripheries of the map, right? Like their apartments kills, that kill right there, forces config back. At least they retain that second op and have it to put to use. But again, the defense is stretched thin now. Since they're in the 5-on-4, they can just play 2 to a site, and they can't really rotate to help out their teammates. Like, both sides are just stranded from each other.
Okay, looking good. Still sitting on the other side, but Config is going to come out and test in a second. Great! Nice little flick there to be able to take down Ricky, but the trade again comes in too quick. Hiko immediately knocking it out before he can safely fall back. Snappy makes a wild play in mid, too, and is caught out by Vice. An attempt to get info, yes. Vice will thankfully be traded out, so A control is re-maintained. And it's a good thing, too, because Rogue, I think, were about to fall back to rotate on A, but now they've got to do a double take. This gave KGB a little bit more time to set up and hopefully successfully defend this site. Gonna roll in. Cage and B, sadly, they're only able to get 1. So the plat's gonna happen about 2 seconds in excess here by the time it gets onto the ground. And Gade now has to look for the actual clutch. A 1v2, he's got plenty of utility though. Flash goes out. The Molly's still available as well if he wants to attempt to burn a player out of position. But he's got to immediately get ready for a fight if he's gonna take the construction path. Maybe not though. Molly sadly will be wasted. Not to his own knowledge, but it's just not going to flush anyone out. Time's getting low as well. He does have the kit, but ultimately ends up walking right into Cadian, and he'll shut it down, giving Rogue another round well past 10 at this point, into the double digits, currently at 11-3. I
think one of the biggest talking points about this game so far is the fact that Rogue's trading has been so efficient. Outside of Snappy's like 3K spray down with the UMP in the middle of the half, almost any other time that OpTic's gotten a frag, it's always been responded to, like, right away. It seems like Rogue always stays a man ahead in these exchanges entering into bomb sites. And when you're trading that efficiently, that consistently, you're going to be successful. And that's where Rogue's been at pretty much the whole half. 11-3 now the score. Last round of the half, and OpTic scraping the bottom of the barrel to get these CZs and armor out.
I think he's going to try to crunch a bit. We can see them setting up, alt mid and banana. Ricky reads it like a book, though. Sadly, he's unable to get the kill, however, so he's in a bit of an awkward spot now. Picks up the kill. His teammates will move in. Config manages to sneak off 1 trade amongst the chaos, but Rogue is still the oversurmounting winner coming out of that fight.
Yeah, it's not looking good here in the last round for OpTic, as most of the half hasn't looked good. It's just going to be Cage and B and Snappy on opposite ends of the map with CZs and head armor, hoping for the best. Rogue playing cautious and back, waiting for people to make plays, and Vice catches Cage and B. Snappy steps out, gets a kill, sure, but now Rogue knows what's up and they can safely contain this. Snappy tries to run through and force something, but Sick puts it between his eyes, and that's 12 rounds from Rogue on their T-side Inferno. Man, this looks like a completely different OpTic team. I mean, their Inferno looked really good at EPL against NIP and Space Soldiers, but today, against Rogue, it's looked really flat.
Molly's and everything going down on the ground at the end there to make sure that last OpTic player does not get anything done. But
there wasn't much of a wall on defense from OpTic, man. Like, there wasn't much one at all.
OpTic in general, this is just a very weird scoreline to look at now after the predictions and all the discussion that we had pregame. It was looking like on paper that OpTic should have easily taken this matchup, as the analysts were saying, like 16-7, 16-6, somewhere in that neighborhood. But obviously that has not been the story here whatsoever.
Indeed, as we lovely crowd out there in good old Austin, Texas. It's hot, but it hasn't kept people away. I woke up and I saw the weather app, and it's like, feels like 104. I was like, perfect.
Nice. Thankfully, the city's like pretty close together, I've noticed, so like walking distances usually aren't that bad here.
Of course, I've lived like, you know, on the Gulf Coast pretty much my whole life, so I'm used to hot, humid weather in the summers. And it's actually not too humid here, so it's actually not as bad as some of the other southeast states.
I've been living in LA for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's a bit different for me.
Yeah.
Either way, we're jumping back into it now. The second half is beginning. Rogue with a monstrous lead. And if they can take this second pistol, it may already be over. We're just going to have to wait and see, though. OpTic, their best chance to find a way back into this game starts right now on this pistol.
Yeah, they did put a little bit of presence towards top middle there. Receive some bullets, and they're getting away. They're actually going to get into Ricky, who's alone at B with the CZ behind a smoke. He's hearing all of this fire, though, and this may cause a rotation, and it will. So Rogue will at least get back into a 2-3 default setup.
It's only 1, though, so this is still a pretty light setup on the B site coming in from Rogue. They're going to need to quickly try and move those A players over if and more than likely when OpTic sends their execute into this site.
I mean, this is just standard, so it's not too bad. The only issue is there's no one really in a quick spot. Like, there's no one library or arch who can quickly get to B. Like, their closest player is graveyard, so it's an extra, couple of seconds to get in place. So yeah, it will just come down to what can Cadian do with the USP from range.
Great flash against Cadian 2 is going to completely blind him to the first 2 players entering. Rick A, a little bit of controlled spray coming off on the C. He's going to take the reload early instead of using those last 6 bullets, but now moves out, trying to get as much damage as possible. Knocks in a second kill, a third as well being found from him, and Cadian finally chiming in. They hold this in a 2v4 now. It's down to just Snappy to hold this situation. 2v5 actually, excuse me. And Cadian's going to look for the last kill. He gets it, knocks out Snappy, and there you go. The 2-man team on the B site holds all comers as OpTic gets shut down.
The only thing that denied Ricky a 4th kill was a lack of bullets. You see that he ran out of his last bullet there right at the end, but he does get 3 on the initial push. That is great stuff from him. Really well done. Rogue up 13-3, and now you feel like the window is getting slammed in OpTic's face of any hope of getting back into this one, unless this force buy comes through.
And again, the complaints about the CZ aside, that was still very impressive use of the weapon right
yeah, they swarmed him nicely.
Like,
they had good spacing to actually really pinch him, but he still just reacted fast enough to deal with it. So yeah, your hat's off to him on that one. He did make the play.
Absolutely. So OpTic will force into it. Not that they really have a choice in the matter at this point at 3-13. They're going to try to go for their best buy and just see if they can keep themselves competitive by looking for a second-round upset here. Sick as well, doing a good job back over on the B side of holding off some damage against Config. He's been brought down to 29 HP and is pretty much just going to immediately bail out on the site and regroup with the main force that's going in through the apartments right now.
Yeah, everyone's bunching up here from OpTic over towards middle and boiler. They did have Cajun B walking towards balcony, but now even he'll draw back and meet up with his team just to see if they can't take a big fight at middle, perhaps. And I mean, they're in a 4th spot to survive for the rest of the half. So you're going to just keep seeing them buy all that they can and just try to hunt for something, setting up some typical smokes for an A-Rat, perhaps. No one's aggressive on Banana for Rogue, so they can't cheat a 4th player to A just yet. I'm sure as they see some players, they will call for that.
Vice already starting to see the push coming in from porch side now. Ricky looking to shut him down too, but Yugi puts a stop to all the action, and finally Ricky is going to dive in, but he doesn't get any kill at all. He's immediately taken down by Config. Cadian's trapped now. He had a player low, could have tried to take him down with the USP, but it didn't work out. Yugi takes control. So many players are low though, so this is not over just yet. Oh my goodness, Sick maybe a little bit too quickly as he moves into the site. So indeed, OpTic will hold. It's a bit of a rough take, but it works out well for them. They work their way into the site and do put that 4th run up onto the board, and also it saves them from an immediate run up to 16 by Rogue here.
Blue, all I'm going to say is you hate to see it when that guy on balcony with the MP9 just goes charging in and gets absolutely nothing. As we do see OpTic capitalize on that brilliantly. Yugi with a couple of nice Deagle kills to go ahead and lock it up. So finally, something's gone OpTic's way. But can they keep it up? They do get a lot of free SMGs here to try to farm some cash. Rogue having to take a save. They do get some CZs. They're playing a little bit of a mid-stack, so that could be tricky to deal with. The trap has been sprung. Will OpTic fall for it's the question.
Rogue still just keep the entire stack solidified here at mid for the time being. A little bit of damage going on, quite a bit of damage actually, but it's going to be returned by the mid team. They move in, completely destroy the setup, and leave Cadian alone in this situation now.
Yeah, so finally there's a little bit of something coming out of OpTic here. They will clean up this round, no problem. The bomb was actually left over towards T-Stairs. They have to go back and grab it, so that will delay things a bit, but with a minute on the clock, it's going to be no problem to get that back over there. Config has made sure that there's no way the CT could have snuck back into the A site, so this is a safe round for the OpTic Danes now, fully Danish team.
Cadian. The other Dane, he's Danish, right?
He is indeed Danish.
Yeah. The other Dane, just going to be sitting back, looking for the save. Not really much to save in this situation. I think more so trying to get an exit kill than anything. There is someone looking to hunt him down. He's got, I think it's Config lurking near him right now, but it doesn't look like he's going to go to where he's hiding out at, so Cadian will more than likely just sit here and, well, save $200, as that's all he's got right now.
Indeed, as Cadian just trying not to allow an SMG to get another kill is really all he's doing here. Like, yeah, he's not really saving anything other than a flashbang, but again, denying that extra bit of money to his opponent is still well worth hiding it out. So a 5th round will go the way of OpTic, but Rogue still maintain a solid lead. Once they get their money back, they can buy in and look to really challenge OpTic. They may even look just to kind of save again, to be honest. I mean, they had such a big lead, and they really don't have enough money to go for like a full buy here, I don't think.
They're going to save more.
Yeah. So you can maybe afford to get like a P250 or a CZ, no armor, and like give yourself a little bit of something, but, you know, obviously they're setting up for next round.
Yeah, sadly, it's still floating around like 2.5 to 3.5K for most players, so just not enough to justify a fourth. But
here's my question. Do they go right to a double op with Ricky and Cadian? Is kind of what I'm going to wonder.
With the way the money works out, they might be able to afford it. So
the only problem with that is if you lose the round, then you're messed up. Because
but again, they have an 8-round cushion right now, so...
It's all about whether they'll feel the need to do that right away or not, or whether they really want to get Ricky out there with an op, because he can be a really flashy, aggressive opper in his own right. So we'll see. Does OpTic sneak their way into A? It's a stack, though, of 4 players from Rogue.
We're going to see them pushing back in. It's going to be a bit messy. As you said, the 4-man stack here, but Cajun losing the plot there a little bit as he tries to find his second target, but still successfully takes him down. And once again, leaves only 1 man standing for Rogue left in the situation. Hiko, although he's found himself an AK, because this is a little bit less of a one-sided fight this time. And look at this from Hiko. Walks right into the site, knocks out 1. He's still sadly completely outmatched here in terms of his positioning, so Cajun B will take him down from pit. But that could have turned into something quite beautiful. I'd have been able to get to that box position just a little bit quicker and find the pit player.
Yeah, so now we're going to get into our first gun round of the half, and we'll see if OpTic can keep the comeback coming. Again, familiar positions, even though they've made 2 roster changes. You'll still see Gaden, Cajun B in the apartments, Config still playing B with Snappy, so everyone's where they used to be. So that familiarity is going to be there. That muscle memory is going to be intact, but it's all about how they make use of it. And again, I'm kind of curious to see what is Ricky doing for the team. Is he going to slot in to Gamon's spot, which was actually... playing over towards the A-bomb site with Vice, and it looks like that is indeed where he is. So again, just kind of a one-to-one plug of a player, but Config catches Cadian sleeping over on the B-bomb site.
Cadian, I think, swinging a little bit too hard on that op shot there and causes him to miss it. So that is actually going to keep the B site completely wide open for the taking, because prior to this, Cadian had full vision on B. Primarily just a sick hold this situation. And even he overextends a little bit there. Snappy's going to be able to catch him as he peeks out a bit from CT. And for the CTs, there's really not much of an option left here. Again, it's the same situation as before. It's obviously a much slower control that OpTic took. But they do just walk right into B for free. And for Vice, Hiko, and Ricky, there's not really an option for a retake. They're more than likely just going to hang out in A and save.
Yeah, good job there by Config to pick up Cadian right away, get that advantage, and work it into a B take. Now Rogue just will be looking to save these 3 rifles. We'll see if anyone really wants to go on the hunt. Cajun B has a FAMAS, which he collected previous round from Rogue, so he could just go for the chase. He still has money in the bank to go for a buy if need be. And getting these rifles down would be massive for OpTic.
Okay, sees one, immediately panics, though, and falls back from the hallway. Doesn't need to take a fight at this stage of the game, especially considering that if they can save these rifles, they might just be able to sneak out another early buy here.
Sure.
That would be kind of just good enough for them. Remember, they only need a few more rounds to shut this down. They've got a big cushion to play off, but they don't want to abuse that too much. However, all 3 of them get knocked out at the end of the round. Beautiful job from OpTic in cleaning up those players that were saving. So nothing at all is going to be carried in from Rogue, and more than likely we'll be looking at another half buy or an eco round.
It's basically a second site take from OpTic in that round. They had enough utility to flush players out of pit and just go for it, and they do get the job done. So no rifle save, no real buying option for Rogue other than some upgraded pistols. And this is where, all of a sudden, OpTic can maybe kind of put their foot in the door before Rogue can slam it in their face. And see if they can't pry their way back into the game. Rogue still with a decent lead, but it is shrinking. And this round will definitely give OpTic a great opportunity to close it even more. They're fully decked out. They already have Vice down to life support, basically.
It's going to be Config striking first. Yugi also finding himself a pickup to immediately. Cadian and Ricky try to get aggressive, but they're also going to be managed very quickly. Good shots from Gay to mop up the shop, and another anti-eco goes the way of OpTic. Now just 5 rounds away from trying to tie the game up at 13-all, but we also have that double up setup now coming in from Rogue.
Yeah, I was waiting to see when this would happen. Ricky will have that second AWP. Curious where they will place him. Ricky will be going B with Sick and Hiko, the normal B defenders, to add an op to that side of the map. Cadian will stay over towards A. Yugi still has his AWP, of course, on the T side, so we'll see if we'll see some duels. Again, I expected a lot of early action this game, and certainly you can see Rogue are trying to fend off Banana with some nice incendiaries, and they might even go for a boost. Oh, Hiko ate a lot of damage there.
Perfect nade setup, and now an interesting stack as well behind the sandbags there. Two-man setup is something I personally haven't seen a lot of, but they're going to try to play it aggressively. 6 first out. Ricky, at the very least on the back lane, is able to trade it on the config. This is more good intel than it is the kills, though, as now they can brace the A players. They've seen the rotate. They know it's happening. Oh, my goodness. Cadian almost doesn't escape as he wraps around the corner. Thankfully, Tanapi goes up against him. He misses his own shot. Vice now waiting, but he might have made a little bit of noise there. No, Cajun is completely unaware of it, and he's knocked out by Cadian anyway. The numbers quickly dwindling down for OpTic. Vice can still go unnoticed as he picks up his first kill against Yugi, leaving only Snappy in the fight. It's a 1v4.
Not going to be able to get anything going. Hiko finishes off the round, and I have to say, hats off to Katie in that round. Great multi-fragging op work there at lane. He's patient. He doesn't go for the cross right away. When he spots it, he just sets up, takes that easier kill. Then he backs up, and when he gets this second op frag, not only does he get the kill, but he lets Vice stay hidden on the balcony to come out later to grab a kill to close out the round. So a lot of impact there from Katie, and they'll keep the double op set up in play. And this is really OpTic's last big buy of the game. You know, otherwise, Rogue goes to map point, then OpTic's in a force buy scenario. So this is getting, again, scarier for the Danish side.
Very, very scary indeed. And Rogue's got their confidence back. Look at this. 6 going to run right down Banana. Flash against him. He's going to turn around. Ricky still sinks a shot, though, knocking out Config and saving his teammate's life, but maybe a bit too aggressive. Sick peeks right into Yugi's crosshair, and we're immediately into a 4v4 because of that.
Yeah, it's been kind of a stalemate the last couple of rounds at B, where each team kind of gets something out of it, but never really gets to leverage an advantage off the back of it because there's a response from the opponent. The difference maker last round was Kadia making a play with the op over towards lane, and he'll do it again. Not a lot of players opt from lane, by the way. Like, JW was a classic one for on Fnatic, but a lot of people play from the other side. But Cadian looking to stick around, maybe repeat last round. No one giving him anything to look at just yet, so kind of a slowed affair at this point. But now we see OpTic gathering up. Cajun pushes through apartments. The bomb's coming to middle, so it seems like A is what's on the docket.
Well, time is going to be getting very low here for OpTic to actually make this successful hit happen. So they are finally starting to set up smokes inside of the A bomb site. For the most part, though, they are wrapping their players around through arch side instead of going directly in from porch. It's really only 1 or 2 players with the bomb in hand. They're going to be going out in that direction. They're trying to split this up to the best of their capabilities. Cadian sees it, though. Spots Snappy and gets the first kill of this fight. The rest of the team, less than 10 seconds now. Vice has remained incredibly passive. Oh, but he misses the jump down from Cajun B, so he's going to be eliminated. Plant should be happening with just about 1 second left, and there it is. And now we go to the 3v3 retake. Rogue has to find a way back into this site, and they do not really have any utility to work with.
Yeah, they do have the couple of kits that gives them extra time, but with the second op in play to retake with rather than an added rifle, it's going to make it that much more difficult.
They're not actually going to go for it.
Yeah. Not surprised. I mean, they do have a comfortable lead. This is not the hill you need to stand on. You can just kind of back it up. You have a chance to reset OpTic as well coming into this next round, which will really set you up nicely to close out once you get map point if you can take the next round. Hats off to Cadian. 22 kills on the game. Doing a good bit of work here. I often feel like he's been slightly underrated by a lot of people. Like, yeah, he's not like one of the best oppers in the world. Maybe not the best in-game leader in the world, but he always still finds a way to, you know, make something happen.
Very on and off,
yeah.
Based on my experience watching it.
Like, I remember when he stood in for TSM in E-League, like back in 2016, he actually really good for that team. And he's had his moments here and there. I just feel like he's never really been, like, on a super big-name team, really. Like, after his Mouse Sports days, he kind of was playing on smaller name teams, trying to build something when he was like building something with the old Rogue, like the original European Rogue when they were using the Bulgarian players.
Yeah, that's true. So Ricky, let's see from him. Not going to be trying to challenge anything just yet. The nade side, they bring his health pool down a little bit too low to actually actively contest. That's going to hand over Banana right to the OpTic roster. That's going to line them up for a good B hit. Rogue is still playing very, very risky, only 1-man setup on the B site too, and they're going to have to pretty much immediately correct that when Enrique took all that damage that he did. He knows that B's been taking control of. He knows he can't aggress it himself to try and find that intel out, so it's better safe than sorry in terms of the call here now, as they've rotated Sick over to support him, and Hiko's going to be joining the fight too.
Yeah, Ricky just posted up here. Terrace will soon be in his line of sight as they are getting the utility squared up. They're definitely committed to this, too. They have no presence anywhere else on the map, so they're just going to go for it. Ricky misses his shot, and he's not able to escape.
Hiko now going to be left alone with Sick. There's a lot of chaos going on amongst the fight. Sick's trying to dive inside of the molly, but Hiko gets lost amongst that. Config is the one that takes him down. Sick now really has to try and save the day here, hiding from within inside of that smoke. Let's see, it's going to fade at any moment. He's still trying to play passively, and now he's lost Katie in 2. There's the first pickup from him. Sees 2 more on the outside. They're still a little bit confused about what's happening, but he's found that kill. His rotate, though, is still a long while away, but the missed shot from Config buys him even more time. Down to a 2v2 now. They can pinch these last 2 players as they're completely restricted to Banana. Unfortunately, though, Vice comes out at the losing end of it, but they at least spot the intensity of the play here now. That's going to give Sick what he needs to try and at least tap onto the bomb, try to fish these guys into the open a little bit. He's sticking it right now. Less than 1 second, but it's not going to happen. Yugi denies the clutch. And OpTic will pick up another round as they go into double digits themselves.
Yeah, great entries from Config early on, but you got to respect the play from Sick, just weaseling his way around the smoke, lurking in the shadows, springing out at just the right time, and grabs 3 kills. Almost gives his team the chance here. Unfortunately, that banana flank from Vice just didn't pan out, and so it was all on Sick at that point. He couldn't clutch out the 1v2. So OpTic gets round number 10, and Rogue are out of money, so 11's right around the corner, and now I feel like we finally have like a true game on our hands where it's not just Rogue blasting OpTic and they're just destined to win at some point. Now I feel like OpTic has a real chance to take this one back. We'll have to see, though. Config waiting for banana aggression, which seems to be certainly in the cards the way that Rogue are positioned.
Gonna be the flash out onto Banana. The first player out gets blinded, I think, by the teammate's own flash, but it still works out to get them the kill they need. They're going to immediately shuffle back now with a new AK and try to set themselves up more appropriately. The bad part, though, is that obviously OpTic immediately reacted to this by pushing in through brackets. Gade's got a pretty good amount of control already leading up to the library. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, Rogue just doesn't have the firepower to stop that in a 1v1. So Gade's going to start ripping these guys apart. 3 quick kills. They didn't drop the AK yet, but now it's the only thing they have. And it might just get saved.
Now, Gade looks like he's on that aimbots map right there. Which, of course, that's a clip he's kind of famous for his like mechanical ability. Gets to demonstrate it there. Just a little bit on an eco round. Just do a little bit of stat padding. Sick. Does get 1 kill. So at least he's doing some, chipping of economic damage to OpTic, forcing a little bit of rebuys out by getting that frag, and also was able to carry it over an AK for his team for the next round. At least saves them a little bit of cash on their own right, unless someone from OpTic can chase him down, but it seems like they're not too keen on going too much further. Snappy, never mind. He is actually fishing for it.
Flash against them, the push, but Sick still holds strong with another pickup. See if he can make it 3 in a second. Doesn't look like they were going to try to push inside and take him down, but no, Sick, right at the end there, the last tick or 2. Yugi managed to successfully get the kill, so no save after all. Rogue still have the money they're going to buy anyway. Obviously, this would have saved them more in the long run. At the very least, Sick gets a lot of damage out there right at the end of the round by knocking out 2 to 3 more players. That doesn't matter much for OpTic, though, since they have a decent amount of money themselves, and they're pretty much just playing to the bitter end anyway.
Timeout comes in here. I'm not sure who it's from.
It's from Rogue, I believe.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. You're starting to have OpTic build up a little bit of momentum, starting to close the gap on the scoreboard. Your big lead is gone, and now the pressure is actually on. Before, you were probably taking this kind of easy. Hey, we're up 12-3. Hey, at one point, they were like up 14-4 or 14-5 or something, and now all of a sudden, that's all gone, so they have to kind of dig deep here and figure it out. And now OpTic, they're starting to get more options. They're starting to build up their cash flow. They have the AWP in Yugi's hands. They have full utility sets. They have a little bit more at their disposal. But they'll probably just keep Config battling. Config's done a really good job battling Banana most times, so they're probably just going to keep that up. But this time, Rogue's utility will deter him in a big, big way. Has to kind of wait it out. And now, in fact, the aggression coming from the Rogue side. And Sick and Hiko combine to trade better.
Rogue will take the advantage as a result of that, and that's also going to keep OpTic well away from Banana for at least some time. So you can see they don't even want to test past that smoke now. So the immediate rotate off the site comes in from Rogue. OpTic are trying to play with a little bit of a mind game, I think, here. They're not going to fully commit to the other side just yet. They are examining Banana once again to possibly push towards that. But on the counter side of that, Rogue has also thought about this, and they've now got 2 on the site. Once again, just playing into a normal setup, a 2-2 split across the map, and kind of keeping Hiko as a quick rotator. He's going to sit on highway, and wherever the site take eventually happens at, he's going to rotate towards it.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to like Yugi versus Cadian in the op duel, with Cadian playing from coffins and Yugi probably going to be looking for that with his op, and I think that's going to be kind of the big tell. If a rifle comes out first, it's almost assured Cadian gets the kill, and it's like a 4-on-2 from that point. So I think that's what really this round hinges on. As Cadian actually positions to a different spot here, gets away from coffins, does get his man.
Got himself to the pole, he's going to quickly go back over, now that the molly's about to fade. 2 more kills for him. And it's all down to Yugi, a 1v4. Sadly, this was not the round that OpTic were meant to win. It's Rogue's round this time, and they go up to map point. 15-11 is the scoreline. Only 1 more round now for Rogue, and they'll take this and move on to the winner's match.
I think Cadian just smartly positioned himself where the utility will have no impact on him. You know, like he gets in a spot where, you know, Molly's not really going to flush him out of position. He's kind of at an off angle when you're coming in. You're probably checking coffins for the opper, and then you're having to, like, swing in and worry about the side itself. He's able to kind of play the edge of the fountain and get a couple of nice kills. So now it's just 1 round away from Rogue to what would be considered an upset against OpTic, I would imagine, to most people. And of course, I think United beating Freshers is also kind of a slight upset, to be honest. So we've had a couple of crazier games, I guess you could say, to kick off this tournament.
Yeah, tournament's off to an interesting start overall, so it's going to be fun to see how that develops over our next couple of games, too, as we start to move into some of the more highlight teams like Space Soldiers and whatnot later on in the day here.
Yeah, so we see double pit set up here from Rogue. I think Hiko has a smoke prime to stop Molly? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's allowing them to keep double pit even in the event that utility comes pouring their way, so that's nice. This does mean their rotation's a bit longer to be, though, if in fact a B play does come in, so that's something to think about.
They do have a quick rotate in the form of Cadian, at
True.
least, though, so which will more than likely become the case if these 3 guys try to go in towards B. They're holding it for it a little bit, though. They're not going to commit to it just yet. There's still smoke in the way back by the main entryway, and they've actually got to get themselves grouped up, too, as there's not really good cohesion between the OpTic players. But that's going to change right now, as they do have everyone together, and this is more than likely just going to be another all-in on the B
Almost
site.
the same exact thing as last round, probably. I think they're just hoping that they're more efficient on getting into the site. But Ricky is, again, maybe here to do the same thing Cadian did last round, which is disappoint their entries.
Ricky misses. Sadly, it's been the run-of-the-mill here so far from Ricky, but Sick is going to be able to move out, get himself 2 kills. He's still dead, however, and that brings us down to a 4v3 with Rogue in control, but they've lost the site and now have to start looking for a retake.
Yeah, good pop flash to get Sick 2 kills, and now Rogue gets to work this 4-on-3 with the advantage, but it is 2 ops on the retake, and Ricky's really low on HP. They do have a couple of nades at their disposal. Let's see what they can do. Yuki is watching the flank.
I'm getting low, though. Rogue really haven't made a whole lot of forward momentum here in terms of starting this retake. They've only got 1 kid as well as sitting on Hiko. If he goes down, someone's going to have to make sure they scramble for that. Time getting way too low here. 1-to-1 trade. Yugi holds off on Hiko, and OpTic to shut down the round, getting themselves another one and holding on to try and chase overtime now.
Yeah, overtime's the best they can hope for at this point, but certainly they'd rather that than a loss. And that is not a bad first crack at it. They're able to stop. Retake, that one was clean for OpTic. That retake really never seemed like it was going to work. OpTic always ahead on that one, and now they have Rogue on basically a full save, just Cadian with the 250. Damage being dealt to Hiko, but again, Hiko has absorbed nades quite nicely. Of course, that is just nades in CSGO.
So for right now, we are going to start to see OpTic prep up once again. All across the map, though, they haven't really made a decision once more.
Yeah, it's the same opening as last round.
Yeah.
Rogue is... Since no one has come A early, they're actually rotating everyone for what they think will be a late B hit, which is what OpTic has done the last 2 or 3 rounds in a row. So they're kind of reading into that. And again, you have to gamble on a round like this to have any hopes of doing anything. But looks like OpTic will avoid it, as Config stays at B as he normally would, but everyone else is gauging up over here at middle. And now they will all 5 be here to kind of take it together. Gade leading the charge. And they will find this completely empty rather soon.
And they've gone. Now OpTic are going to quickly rotate in, get that plant for Rogue. Sadly, the round is pretty much already over for them, not having any upgraded pistols for the most part, except on Cadian there. There's not much of a room to bargain. They can even hold on in this situation, although they do at least get 1 kill. Gade bites off a little bit more than he can chew back at mid, so he's going to get traded back. Sick almost gets one himself. Cajun, I don't think... Oh, Cajun didn't even see the jump up from Rikke. Completely missed it. So Rikke is going to be able to sneak off another one and run away with an AK now, too. So he gets quite the parting gift.
Yeah, that was some timing strike right there if I've ever seen it. He had certainly seemed to be prepared for it, but just happened to get there a couple of milliseconds too late. So, again, a little bit of exit damage onto OpTic. But it really is just going to come down to the wire of these last couple of rounds. You'd like to think that Rogue finds a way to win just one more. They're going to get 2 chances at it, but OpTic has been hot on their T side. So it all comes down to these last 2. Rogue in this round will still have a pretty solid buy. The AK that got recycled. Everyone else able to get guns. Kaden has AWP again. He's been really good this game at finding kills with that big green.
OpTic are still going to look for control of mid early on, though, as they push up towards the apartments early on. No sign of much in the way of banana aggression from them, though, besides holding config back down by logs. So they're not really looking for too much towards B, which is a bit of a stray away from what we've been seeing throughout most of the half from OpTic here. At the same time, Rogue are also not being too aggressive, so let's see how this plays out. And there's the aggression from OpTic on banana. This is what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Snappy always, like, there was always like this philosophy battle on Heroic where Snappy wanted to be more structured and other players wanted to be more loose. On this team, I feel like he's given in to the looseness just a little bit, giving space to players like Yugi and Config to make things happen. They're looking for something at top B this round. Hiko tucked into the sandbags, using some utility to stave OpTic off for now. Well, that is getting dangerously close to Hiko through the wall.
Hiko's got a great position, too. They can't even get through that smoke safely. Hiko, however, misjudges the position from Snappy, so he's going to be able to trade it back out. But again, the bomb is still held back as a result of that. It doesn't make its way through. It's now going to fall back, regroup, and all of a sudden, OpTic have to make a completely new plan on the backup here to try and work themselves into A, and they don't have a whole lot of time to do it.
No, they really don't. They have a couple of smokes to block out Pit and try to push into lane and try to make something happen, but Vice is already inside the site itself. So they're going to be hard pressed. It's going to come down to this raw entry fragging. Can they find the crosshair place that they need? But Kaden from Pit staving them off.
Another nice shot being found by Katie, and only one remains now. Just snapping. Well, he'll get one more kill. He goes down, and it's going to be Rogue that take control of their opening match against OpTic Gaming of all teams as well. 16-13 is the final scoreline after a 12-3 start for Rogue. Obviously took a little bit longer than they were expecting to close out, but they still get the job done. And as such, they're going to move forward into the winners match later today. For OpTic, they have to come back tomorrow and get ready for an elimination best of 3.
Wow, not the place you thought OpTic would be. I feel like, you know, OpTic and Space Holders were the teams that people thought were going to make it, you know, a deep run in this tournament. So OpTic, an early loss to Rogue that's not expected, especially in that fashion. I mean, really one-sided the first half from Rogue. Luckily, OpTic had something in their own T side to, you know, close the gap and make it competitive. But again, I feel like Rogue were never under too much of a threat. Like you always felt like they were going to eventually win.
All right, guys. Well, we do have the desk ready, so let's send it back over to Buck to break down this game.
So I guess we all have egg on our face because we all had said that that was going to be Rogue taking it. Or, excuse me, OpTic taking it, not Rogue.
Oh, yeah, we said Rogue.
Yeah, we said, you're right.
Yeah.
Delete the VOD. Delete the VOD.
I think we all got to be better. I think we got to be better here.
Absolutely.
OpTic's got to be better. I think J.R. Smith's got to be better. I think the officials got to be better. And I think that reporter from last night's got to be better.
Bless his heart. JR is getting absolutely wrecked right now.
Bad time to be JR.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in general, it looked really good early on from Rogue. You know, they looked much better at the start. Obviously, they tapered off in the second half, and OpTic started to pick up speed. Why is that? Why did Rogue start to struggle in that second half?
It's not so much why they started to struggle, I don't think. I think OpTic just finally got into that game. The first half, they lost the pistol, went down 0-3. They won the first round, but they instantly got reset. That was the very close retake in A that they won, Yugi and Config. Then they lost a couple rounds in a row. They tried force buying a little bit. That was the next round they won, where Snappy got those 3 UMP kills and another weak buy. They almost no players survived. They lost the next round, and they were just money. Economy was just in shatter the whole first half. There was just no point where they actually got into that game, got their ops rolling and everything. Second half they did, but the problem is their margin for error just wasn't big enough.
Yeah, the money control is definitely the highlight of the first half. I would agree. OpTic did a great. Rogue did a great job.
Gotta be better, James.
Yeah, gotta be better.
Gotta be better.
Can't be messing up like that. But Rogue definitely did a good job. I think in calling, they did a lot of fast strats early on, caught them off guard, and then I felt like they made the call to say, hey, let's slow play because now they're going to be aggressive. And they caught, there was one round in the middle of the half, I don't remember the exact round, but they had one watching A-Halls push, one watching Boiler push, and OpTic just pushed right into both of their crosshairs, got an easy round, reset them again, lost some money. And once you lose money especially on a map like Inferno where nades are so vital, that you're going to have a really rough half as a
I think it's the hardest half in the game by far. Like, you just need to have, you just need to be able to call saves. Force buying is not going to win you the half unless you just keep forcing and winning 50-50 type rounds the entire half. You're just going to be reset if you're playing against a similar skill team.
You could buy CZs.
That's basically it.
That's basically
a gun.
Yeah, that's basically like having AKs.
It's better than an M4 at this point.
I think I agree.
But we've got Cadian standing by for an interview to talk about what happened. Cadian, looking at that game, we all expected you guys to struggle. Was that fuel for the fire?
I mean, I can understand your prediction, obviously. There's not much to say. They are having more high-caliber players than we are, historically speaking. And it had a good performance at the EPL, so I can't blame you for that one. And we're new. We have Ricky. Everything is a bit crazy these days, but we're doing what we can.
How's Ricky fitting into the lineup? Is he going to be taking over maybe the main opping role, or is he going to remain as like a flex player?
I mean, I think I just showed you guys that I'm going to keep being the main op with that performance. So no, Ricky is going to come in as a hybrid. Before that was mostly Sick. Sick doesn't always like double opping. Ricky is more of a he will go to it nearly every time. So that's like the plan on the long run. We tried that for a few days. I was playing from Denmark with 150 ping. We lost 15 scrims in a row and things was not going our way, so we decided for this event to just put Ricky in GMD spots, and then we'll try and incorporate him better for the future.
How important do you think was money control in the first half? Because I just felt like OpTic just needed to double save at some point, make sure they actually get the ops, get the utility to slow you down, but they just never did. They just doubled down on forcing the whole half.
Yeah, it seemed like we quickly got the money control. We won a lot of rounds cleanly. And we just, I don't know, we just controlled them fairly good throughout the game. Yeah, I mean, after 5 rounds, we all had like 10k in the bank, and by that time I knew that we would have a lot of weapon rounds in a row, and it would be hard for them to break our economy. So we did really well on that part. We agreed upon anti-ecos prior to the game, and that it was important to stay alive as many as possible. And yeah, like you said, we ended up having the money control, and money control in Inferno is key.
Were you specifically prepared for Config and Banana on the T side? Because it seemed like he could get nothing going.
Yeah.
Like you guys were just ready every single round for his aggressive push, and he just always got taken out.
Yeah, we played them early in the season on EPL, and Config is very confident, rightfully so. He has a lot of raw skill. So me and Hiko on the T side knew what he was going to do as CT with the pop flashes, running through the entrance smoke, all these kind of crazy things. And vice versa again, when he was on Terra's side, he's super aggressive, and we knew that, so we had like small game plans and small ideas of what we could do to break down him, because he's a phenomenal player, obviously.
And I think lastly, I would just like to know what your expectations are for this event.
We'll take one game at the time. No need to throw in any overconfidence. We'll see where it goes. I think that OpTic is potentially the strongest team maybe in our group. So yeah, we'll see. One game at a time. We're happy so far.
All right, Cadian, thank you so much for taking time to come and talk to us.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations on the win as well. Rogue surprised us. They came in and pick up a win against OpTic, who we were really just saying, just measuring up player for player, pound for pound. OpTic looked like a better team, even with all of the drama surrounding them. And then Rogue shows up and impresses us with a really strong first half, a little bit weaker of a second half. But I guess part of that could be attributed to the CT side nature of Inferno, like being a little bit more difficult to play, and A teams kind of struggle.
Well, as Cadian mentioned, he had played them recently in I think he said EPL.
Just prior to the roster change, though.
Yes, but I mean, like he said, he was countering what Config was doing. He was still on that team, so he knew what he was going to do. So it's pretty clear that, well, we didn't actually ask if they studied this particular roster, the demos from the EPL LAN finals, but I think it's pretty clear the way they played. They were reading them quite well, and I think they did do their homework.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue looked great, but we'll have more games coming up in a bit. Before we talk about that, let's take a moment to talk about Astro headsets. You guys can join the Astro family, astrogaming.com. I have friends that swear by these. I've personally never used them, but I put them on. They feel super comfortable, and then obviously the allure of going full wireless is definitely there. But we are going to throw things to a break. We've got Heroic and Luminosity coming up on the stage after this. Stay tuned.